I woke up to a miracle today. Triggers stay as I find my way. No judgment to lead astray. In this peaceful state I'll stay.
Welcome back. Today we're continuing our journey through the course's workbook.
Yes, and we're diving into Lesson 293.
The title itself is quite something. All fear is past and only love is here.
It really is a cornerstone idea, isn't it? This lesson points directly to a fundamental shift in how we perceive, well, everything.
It suggests that the fear we feel, the anxiety that seems so present, is actually rooted entirely in memory, in the past.
Which leaves love and peace as the only states that are truly available right now in this present moment.
So in this exploration, we want to look at how this plays out practically.
How does fear show up in daily life? Often it's disguised, maybe it's just habit, old reactions.
And we'll discuss how recognizing fear as just an echo, not a current event, actually allows peace to return, almost instantly.
That happens the moment we consciously decide to stop replaying those old stories, those old tapes in our minds.
This isn't just theory, it's about practical application in our everyday interactions.
Absolutely. Our mission today is to really unpack this mechanism. How can fear feel so real, so now, if its source is gone?
We want to pinpoint that moment of choice, that pause, where we can actually choose to drop the past and accept the present for what it is.
And if any of this resonates with what you're noticing in your own practice, or if a question comes up for you,
please do share it with us. You can send an email. It's ACIM@theworldharmonyproject.org.
That's ACIM@theworldharmonyproject.org.
Or you can find us over on TikTok, too. Our handle is @theworldharmonyproject.
Great. So before we get into the discussion, let's just settle in and listen to the lesson and the prayer for today. Let the words wash over us.
Okay, I'll read the lesson first.
Actually, I think I had the lesson text here.
Go ahead.
Okay. Lesson 293. All fear is past and only love is here. All fear is past because its source is gone and all its thoughts gone with it. Love remains the only present state whose source is here forever and forever. Can the world seem bright and clear and safe and welcoming with all my past mistakes oppressing it and showing me distorted forms of fear? Yet in the present, love is obvious and its effects apparent. All the world shines in reflection of its holy light, and I perceive a world forgiven at last.
Thank you. It's quite direct. Now for the prayer. Father, let not your holy world escape my sight today, nor let my ears be deaf to all the hymns of gratitude the world is singing underneath the sounds of fear. There is a real world which the present holds safe from all past mistakes, and I would see only this world before my eyes today. So that opening statement, all fear is past, it feels radical.
It does challenge our everyday experience, doesn't it? We tend to think fear is about the future, about what might happen.
But the Course is saying no, its source is gone. Fear needs time, specifically linear time, to exist.
Right. If we accept that the past is literally over, completely done,
then any fear we feel now can't be a new thing. It has to be, like you said, an echo.
a memory loop, something we're actively replaying in our minds in this very moment.
That requires a pretty significant shift in thinking just to grasp it conceptually.
It does, because we're so used to feeling like we're battling present threats.
But if this lesson is true, the struggle isn't with today's reality. It's with our own mental habit of dredging up the past.
They're essentially taking like a highlight reel of old hurts or failures.
And projecting them onto what's happening right now.
And this happens incredibly fast. So fast we mistake the projection for reality.
That speed, the velocity of that reaction, that's how the ego keeps itself hidden in a way.
You get a small trigger, something maybe totally neutral. A phone rings unexpectedly, plans change slightly, someone gives you an odd look.
And boom, instantly an old pathway lights up in the brain.
The mind doesn't pause to gather information about the current situation. It jumps straight to a related painful memory. Maybe insecurity, maybe betrayal.
And then it leaps ahead, predicting a negative outcome based on that past experience. Guaranteed failure, guaranteed hurt.
The whole process, from the neutral trigger to feeling that full-blown fear or anxiety, can happen in practically no time at all.
I've certainly noticed that pattern, especially around criticism.
Oh, yes. That's a common one.
If someone asks a question about something I've done, even a simple clarifying question, a kind of defensive posture springs up mentally.
Right. And that isn't really about the question being asked now.
No, it's a full body memory of an old story, maybe from years ago, about not being adequate or expecting harsh judgment.
So the present reality, which is just someone asking for information, gets completely drowned out by that old narrative. And when you catch yourself in that moment, when you notice you're expecting criticism that actually hasn't materialized.
Yes.
That's it. You've identified the mechanism the lesson is talking about. You realize you're reacting to the old story, not the person or situation in front of you.
And recognizing that leads straight to this crucial insight about the present moment itself.
Which is?
That the present's actually neutral until memory starts interpreting it.
That's where the power lies.
If the present moment, before we slap a label on it from our past, is neutral,
then it can't contain any inherent threat. The threat comes purely from the interpretation.
So once you manage to trace that fear back to a memory, you see clearly that the present moment belongs to a completely different awareness altogether.
An awareness that isn't weighed down by history.
Right. Fear needs that historical baggage to seem justified. Love doesn't. Love just needs the present.
This connects so clearly to the very early workbook lessons, doesn't it?
It absolutely does.
Yeah.
Lesson 293 feels like the advanced application of those foundational ideas.
The idea that meaning isn't inherent in the world, but something we assign to it.
Remember lesson 1, nothing I see means anything.
And then lesson 2, I have given everything I see all the meaning it has for me.
Those weren't just intellectual exercises. They were preparing us for this understanding.
If the world itself is inherently meaningless, just forms and colors,
And if we are the ones giving it meaning,
then the fear we feel must come from the meaning we're projecting onto it.
and lesson 293 tells us that meaning, that fearful interpretation, comes exclusively from the past.
So if we can stop projecting the meaning of past failure or past pain or past scarcity onto this present moment,
The present is revealed as something else entirely. The Course calls it the setting for the atonement, the correction of perception.
that's why the present is the only place where the choice for love, for peace, actually exists. It's the only moment not already colored in by the ego story of guilt and attack.
The instant we trace the fear back to memory, its power dissolves. It can't survive in that neutral present space.
Understanding this gives such a strong reason to interrupt that constant mental chatter.
Because when we let memory just run wild, we spend all our energy prepping for what isn't happening,
Constantly defending against yesterday's battles.
instead of being open to what's actually here now, which might be an opportunity for peace or connection.
So the critical action becomes the pause, that moment where we consciously ease our expectations.
The ego loves expectation, especially negative expectation, predicting suffering, anticipating loss.
But when we deliberately stop that forward projection, even just for a breath,
We create a little space, and awareness can slip in.
it's that conscious choice to not follow the automatic reflex. The reflex that jumps from a neutral stimulus straight to an old fear-based emotional reaction.
And this pause isn't about forcing ourselves to feel positive, is it?
No, not at all. It's much simpler. It's about stopping the resistance, ceasing the fight.
We feel this constant urge to control things, to manage the future, but that's exhausting.
And it guarantees the fear loop keeps running.
But the moment we decide to just relax that control, to wait and see what this moment holds without prejudging it based on yesterday.
That's how we get back on track. Back to sanity, really.
And what's waiting there when we stop resisting?
Love. The Course says love is obvious and apparent.
Which can sound strange because the world often feels anything but loving.
Right. If it's so obvious, why don't we see it all the time?
And the lesson suggests it's because love is quiet.
Exactly. Fear is loud, demanding, urgent, full of drama.
Love just waits, patiently, quietly.
So most of us only really perceive it after we consciously choose to relax our control, after we quiet down that noisy historical narrative in our heads.
That relaxation is so important. It implies letting go of the internal battle.
And when we manage that, even if the external problem, the difficult circumstance, doesn't vanish instantly.
Something profound shifts.
Yes, the situation itself might still be there in form, but it's now experienced differently. It's resting in light instead of tension.
The whole energy around it changes. Because the fear that was making it seem so overwhelming
Has been seen for what it is, an artifact of the past, not a property of the present.
This shift is really what forgiveness looks like in the Course, isn't it?
It is. The lesson says, all the world shines in reflection of its holy light.
When we stop filtering everything through that old lens of guilt or grievance,
Suddenly everything looks different.
the world stops feeling like a minefield of potential threats.
And forgiveness isn't some heroic effort to pardon a terrible wrong.
No, it becomes simple recognition. Recognition that this present moment and the self experiencing it is actually innocent. Innocent of all the crimes the past insists we committed or suffered.
It's the decision to accept that the past is truly gone. Its power over the present is something we grant it.
When that recognition clicks, the world does shine differently. We see the world forgiven at last.
Which means the world stops feeling like a constant, painful rerun of our old mistakes and hurts.
Think about how often we beat ourselves up over past errors.
All the time. Replaying a dumb comment we made years ago. Terrified we'll do it again.
Judging who we are now based on who we were then.
I've definitely caught myself doing that internally, telling myself how stupid I am over some tiny oversight.
And that judgment, that self-attack, is it ever really about the current task?
Never. It's always tied to a history of shame or feeling inadequate, connected to similar moments way back when.
So that moment of self-correction, when you notice that internal script and you just stop it, that's forgiveness in action.
Yeah.
Right there.
As soon as you drop the story, I'm stupid, or I always mess this up, the mind clears.
And you're free to just deal with what's in front of you now with fresh energy.
It shows how practical forgiveness is. It's the mind's built-in reset button.
It lets us access that corrected awareness. We stop applying the old narrative to our present self.
We can learn from a past mistake without being defined by it forever.
This gives so much more meaning to the prayer, especially the line, "Father, let not your holy world escape my sight today."
Yes. Once you've had even a glimpse of that present moment peace, that clarity,
The natural desire is to hold on to it, to keep seeing things through that clear lens.
so the prayer becomes a conscious commitment. I want to stay focused on this reality, the present one, and resist getting pulled back into interpreting everything through the past.
It acts like a reminder or maybe an internal alarm.
How so?
When fear or anxiety starts to creep in, we can use it as a prompt to ask that quiet question. What memory am I holding on to?
Ah, like doing old detective work on our own minds, tracing the feeling back to its origin.
Sometimes the answer pops up immediately. Oh, this feels like that time I lost money or that time someone rejected me.
And sometimes the specific memory doesn't surface right away.
But it almost doesn't matter if you pinpoint the exact memory instantly.
Why not?
Because the act of asking the question forces you to pause.
Okay, I see.
That inquiry itself interrupts the momentum of the fear loop. It slows everything down.
And that intentional slowing, just by asking, what memory is this, creates the space.
The gap needed for love, that quiet, steady, always present state to filter back into our awareness.
That prepares us to understand that beautiful image later in the prayer. Hearing the hymns of gratitude the world is singing underneath the sounds of fear.
Fear is like static, isn't it? Constant, loud, white noise predicting doom.
It completely masks the quiet truth underneath.
But when our attention settles, when we pause that internal noise, gratitude can start to surface.
And often it's in the simplest things, the things we usually overlook because we're too busy worrying.
You might suddenly appreciate the way someone speaks, the simple fact of connection.
Or just pause long enough to feel the sun on your skin, or notice the way light falls on an object, appreciate something mundane that just works.
These small details, when we see them without the filter of past fear or judgment, are initially neutral.
Right. Not inherently threatening.
But through a conscious choice, just by allowing ourselves to appreciate them, they can become sources of quiet joy.
They act as little proofs, don't they? Proof that peace is available, right here, underneath the layer of anxiety we're generating.
Gratitude confirms the truth. Peace is already here. It doesn't depend on our circumstances changing or our history being different.
And the way that gratitude feels or looks will be different for everyone.
For sure. For one person, it might be feeling connected in a crowd. For another, it might be the deep peace of being alone.
But the underlying truth is the same. The present moment is okay. It's safe. The history of suffering doesn't have to define now.
Which leads to that final assurance in the prayer about the real world, which the present holds safe from all past mistakes.
Many spiritual paths talk about a real world as some future goal, or a place you go after death.
But the Course keeps pulling us back to here now.
The real world isn't some distant heaven. It's this one, seen without yesterday's meaning layered on top.
It's simply the present moment, innocent and unburdened by all the stories we tell about the past.
Seeing things this way has to change our relationships.
How could it not? It means we have to drop the narratives we use to define people.
The labels, the judgments, the defenses we've built based on past interactions.
We stop applying a historical definition to the person standing right in front of us today.
That can be incredibly difficult, especially when there's a history of genuine hurt. Letting go of the narrative that feels like it's protecting us.
It requires trust.
It does. I carried a story for years about a friend who had struggled with addiction.
Okay.
Decades ago, her illness led to some really hurtful actions. And for my own well-being at the time, I had to create distance, put up walls.
Understandable.
But for a long time after, I continued to define her by that period. By the betrayal, the damage. The memory was always coloring our interactions, even years later.
And when you carry that narrative, you constantly apply shoulds to the relationship.
Absolutely. I should be cautious. She should still be sorry. Our interaction should be limited because of what happened back then. The story kept the emotional debt alive.
So what changed?
The release came when I recognized I was reacting to the trauma from, say, 1998, but applying it to the person she is, well, right now.
You saw the time slip.
Yes. And I realized the hurt itself had actually been released long ago, but the narrative about the hurt was still running. Letting that narrative finally drop was key.
So you no longer feel the need to apply those historical shoulds to how things are now?
Not at all. It's not even about wiping the slate clean, exactly. It's recognizing the slate in the present moment is clean. It always was. Yesterday's dirt doesn't stick to today unless we keep reapplying it.
That letting go of expectation, dropping the need to defend yourself based on history, that's a perfect example of love appearing in action between people.
You stop bracing yourself against the memory of who they were or what they did.
And you become free to just respond to the person who is here.
You shift from being certain about the past and therefore defensive,
to being open to the present reality of the individual. Same person, maybe, but seen with clear and therefore loving eyes.
And the wonderful thing is, we don't need a major crisis or decades to pass to practice this. We could spot the clues in our daily lives.
The little signs that tell us we've slipped back into thinking from the past.
These are the habits that keep the illusion of fear alive right now.
What are some of those clues?
Rushing is a big one for me.
Oh, definitely. When I feel rushed, it's usually because I'm anticipating failure or trying to outrun some perceived threat. It's future-based, rooted in past fears.
Predicting outcomes is another. The ego just loves to tell you how things are going to turn out badly, based entirely on past evidence.
And replaying conversations, going over them in your head, scripting what you should have said or what you'll say next time.
All of those activities, rushing, predicting, replaying in the world, they are never happening in the present moment. They are pure history or future projection.
So when you catch yourself doing any of those,
that's the signal. That's the moment to just pause, stop the mental gymnastics, gently bring yourself back to now.
And that pause, that return, is where love shows up again.
And it usually appears very simply.
Like ordinary recognition, right? Seeing something as if for the first time, really listening to someone without formulating your reply.
Or just realizing in that moment, there's actually no need to fix or guard anything.
When we see the present as neutral, inherently safe, there's nothing to defend against.
And all that energy we normally pour into defending ourselves
is suddenly available for just being.
Yeah.
For appreciating, connecting, creating.
Fear really hides in those familiar habits, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Guilt over the past, the relentless need to control the future, constant self-criticism.
But when these patterns are just seen, just recognized for what they are, echoes of history,
They lose their energy instantly because their entire existence depends on us believing the past is still real and powerful now.
that's the core contrast the lesson drives home. Fear needs that whole complicated, dramatic story of our lives to justify itself.
It needs memory, projection, control, guilt.
But love doesn't need history. It just is.
It's the steady background reality that's left when all the frantic storytelling stops.
So practicing lesson 293 really brings us to see that fear's source is gone, just like it says.
But love remains steady, always available.
So the practice is an ongoing process of letting go.
Letting go of the past, moment by moment, which leads us back to rediscovering what was always here.
And that feeling of rediscovery that, oh, there it is, feels different for everyone, I imagine.
It might feel like quiet relief for one person, sharp clarity for another, maybe just a restful certainty.
But underneath the specific feeling, there's always that sense of coming back to a quiet place, a safe harbor we forgot we were already in.
So stop letting yesterday define today.
Each time you catch the fear, recognize it as memory and choose to pause. You weaken the cycle.
The present moment literally becomes clearer. The world feels more peaceful, simply because you've stopped wrestling with ghosts.
And love isn't something you achieve when circumstances get better. It's already here, just waiting for you to turn your attention towards it.
So the practice for the day becomes this simple, continuous returning, whenever the mind wanders into old stories of fear or lack.
Gently interrupt it. Come back to now. Come back to love.
Thank you for exploring Lesson 293 with us today. We hope carrying this awareness that fear is just history replaying brings some ease to your day.
Remember, you can share your own insights or questions. Email us at acim@theworldharmonyproject.org.
Or find us on TikTok at the World Harmony Project. We appreciate hearing from you.
And as we close, here's something to maybe ponder. If fear truly needs all that complex history to survive, what would it feel like to live just one moment completely free from the need to explain or justify itself based on anything that came before?
Something to explore. Until next time, when we look at Lesson 294.